Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So Russia launched more than 600 missiles and drones on Ukraine from the 20th to the 21st of August 2025. Some people say, how is this possible since they want to reach a peace agreement? Putin doesn't want peace. Well, I will explain using Miyamoto Musashi's book Gori no Sho. And not only Miyamoto Musashi's, also Sun Tzu's The Art of War, to explain this easy concept of if the enemy shows or is, how is it called, as a faltering, you don't stop. You go full force on it. So that's the first topic we're going to discuss, details of how many missiles, what kind of drones, what targets were hit, from where, and what airplanes were used. During this massive attack, the Russians struck an American company located in Zakarpattia, which is southwest of Ukraine, by Hungary. In Zakarpattia, in a city very close to the Hungarian border. Obviously, these guys in Ukraine yap very loudly, and not only that, is in Zakarpattia, that means your people, your minority Hungarian population living over there, and Peter Szijjártó, the foreign minister of Hungary, and the president of Hungary do not mention and delete the word Russia from the attack. And people say the Ukrainians are very upset about it. Why don't you call this on your people in Zakarpattia? And I will explain why. Because about 2 days ago, or 3, let me tell you exactly, on the 18th of August, Ukraine struck Druzhba pipeline that gives Hungary oil. So cut Hungary of oil a few days ago. That's why they don't say anything now. So these are the main subjects, and we're going to discuss the details plus maps. So let's start with the first article coming from New Voice of Ukraine. So New Voice of Ukraine, the date is the 21st of August 2025. Russia unleashes massive attack across Ukraine. Blasts reported in Lviv, Lutsk, Rivne, Mukachevo and Zaporizhzhya. So Lviv, Lutsk, Rivne, all this should be in the Polish part of the country, Lutsk, Lviv, Rivne, which this are claimed and will be claimed by Poland in the near future. I know they say no, but I know better. The other one is right here in Zakarpattia. This is Hungary right here. This is Romania. This is Slovakia. So the town is right here, Mukachevo. This is where an American company produces something. And I will explain the Rheinmetall that wants to produce right here between Romania and Hungary, hoping that the Russian missiles could not hit here. I mean, otherwise they have to come like this, and it's easy to defend unless the missiles cross in Romania right here and then go over there. So these were, then you have Zaporizhzhya, which is right here. This is Zakarpattia Oblast. And I think it was one more, wasn't it? Rivne, no, that's 5 locations so far with more than 600 missiles and drones. All right, it says, despite U.S. efforts to push for peace talks, Russia carried out a massive overnight assault on Ukraine, which had drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic weapons ahead of August 21st, Western Chupukupa Kappa Kappa. Oh, got it, and the same thing. Oh, we got Khmelnytsky Oblast as well, and Kiev. Now, Khmelnytsky is where the Ukrainians have, or the West has, the F-16, this is Khmelnytsky, F-16s flying out of this airfield exactly here. And I will show you on the different map when we get there. This is, you can see, but this is the Khmelnytsky. Why? Because it has a longer strip fit for the pre-C F-16s that need a longer strip to take off and land. So, and then you have Kiev right here. All right, so let's see what else we have here. The president of Ukraine shared details about the cruise missile strike on a U.S. business in Zakarpattia and commented on the 21st of August attack. The Russians carried out this strike as if nothing is changing at all, as if there are no global efforts to stop this war. There must be a response to this. Yes, United States of America will nuke them. Are you happy? And now go to the bazaar in Palestine. There is still no sign, zero, from Moscow that they are genuinely, sincerely ready for a meaningful negotiations or to end this war. All right, well, I'm going to give you more details, but hey, let's crack this a little bit here. You can talk and fight in the same time. There's no rule that if we are talking about a peace, ending a war, we have to stop everything. There's no rule saying that. On the contrary, that's the rule. You fight, and in the meantime, you discuss. That's the general rule. Why? I want to stop, and then, I have to first get to some agreements to stop. So that means I have to get into negotiations. I can't say, okay, we stop, and now we talk. Everybody, shh, we talk. It's so idiotic. First, I don't want to talk about certain things with you. Let's start with this one. So let me get you to Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi was a Japanese swordman, samurai, and he lived in 1584 and died in 1945. Jesus Christ. 1645, Jesus Christ. And I think he's buried in Kumamoto. Anyway, so he is one of the most famous strategist fighter. He supposedly never lost a fight. So he wrote 2 books, but the main one that people know about is Gori no Sho, and that's the Japanese for the Book of the 5 Rings. And he divides the books in strategy and techniques of fighting. And among strategies, he also gives techniques to win encounters. And he has this idea that you are an army. So this is one division, this is another division, this is a flank, the head, the elbow. You have different methods, but you have to function as an army overall, a military. And he said when you fight someone and the other army falters somewhere, let's say you fight and you boom hit the guy, let's say with the left into his liver, right? Liver is on his right side, boom, and he's like, you don't stop. That means then you get all the energy you have. If you're certain that that's an accurate strike and he's not fainting, come over, when you open, boom, I knock you out. No, it's real. You get the intelligence. Then you go all the way towards the liver and you destroy and try to get the other person or army to say, I'm sorry, we're done. They did not get to these negotiations because somehow Trump said, okay, guys, that you had enough. No, someone or someone's got hurt somewhere in the interest behind this war. That's all. And the Russians are not losing. The Russians got the other guys to come and talk to them. Why? They didn't want to talk to the Russians. What changed? Do you think that now they just saw the light or the cross in the sky? No, I didn't see that. That made the reason why they're talking, because the interests were hurt and are hurting and are not winning. So again, to say this, that, he doesn't show any compassion. The war is still on. We didn't agree to anything. Just to meet, maybe, discuss, wave. That's the process. In the meantime, I'm going to fuck you up if I can. And believe me, the other side does the same. All right. And aims at destroying. Do you think the Ukrainians are not fighting? Instead of 30 rounds in their magazines, they're going to put, 10? No. All right, let's go to the next one. Ukrainska Pravda. Ukrainian air defense downed 577 Russian drones and missiles strikes recorded at 11 locations. But here on the bottom, they tell you more information. I'm going to go back. Let's have 3 articles with the same piece of information. According to early monitoring reports, Russia used Kalibr, Kinzhal's missiles, as well as cruise missiles launched for Tu-95MS and Tu-160 strategic bombers. And they tell us they launched from, where is that? They tell us about the U.S. business in Ukraine, and we are supposed to cry like that business was just building, dolls or something, or dildos. All right, that's how it is. 9:07 a.m. August 21st, attack one of the largest. Russia launched 614 targets. According to Air Force, Russia launched 574 drones, Shaheds and decoys, and 40 missiles. 4 Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles, 1 intercepted. I don't believe that. These are the hypersonic ones. 2 Iskander-M. These guys also are hypersonic ballistic missiles. Nothing hit. All right. 19 Kh cruise missiles from strategic bombers. 18 shot down or jammed. So from 19, 18 were shot down. 14 Calibre cruise missiles from the Black Sea. I will show you all these things because they're gonna give us all the locations. 12 downed or suppressed from 14. 12 were destroyed. 1 unidentified missile from Crimea. 574 UAVs. 546 intercepted or jammed. 11 locations. All right, so let's go to the next one. They're gonna tell us where they struck. So 614 air targets, 577 destroyed. And they said the Shahed drones, the drones were launched from Russian cities of Kursk, Bryansk, Milerovo, Oriol, Shatolovo. So these are located right here. Shatolovo in there, Bryansk, Oriol, Kursk. Then you got Milerovo right here. This is Milerovo over there. So you got so far north, northeast, and east. All right, what else? And Primorsko-Akhtarsk. That's also Russian. They're very careful to call it that way. This is right here, Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Right here, this is the airfield. That's why you have it in a darker color than the cities, the settlements. All right, so this is across from the Sea of Azov. So as of now, we have north, northeast, east, southeast, and now we're going to go to the Ukrainian side, as well as from temporary occupied Zaporizhzhya in Crimea. Where is that located? No issues, no problems. Crimea is down here in the south and is north of Simferopol. I was right, but anyway, here. So they are in this area, and I'm gonna show you a big how do you call it? Airfield. Okay, this is the airfield where this is Zaporizhzhya, and here is northwest of Simferopol. Let me show you the airfield. So this is where these guys launched some drones from this airfield. They have anything on it? It's empty. Ooh, look at that. 0. There's no airplanes, no fighter jets, no bombers. 0 is like deserted. You got air defense systems. No, they're building something here. All right, so there's nothing. I don't see any. Oh, right here maybe. No, 0. Okay, that means they can't defend and decide not to defend it. So these are where the drones were launched, but they're gonna show us where the missiles. 4 Kh Kinzhal air ballistic missiles that were launched from Russia's Lipetsk and Voronezh Oblast. So they were launched from Lipetsk and Voronezh. So this is Ukraine. Voronezh is right here, and Lipetsk is right there. So from here, the MiG-31 launched the Kinzhals. Were the Kinzhals? Yeah. 2 Iskander-M KN-23 ballistic missiles that were launched from Russia's Voronezh Oblast. Okay, Voronezh, we already saw where it's at. Then we have Russia Saratov Oblast, the 19 cruise missiles with the 295s. Saratov Oblast from Engels military base. But we're going to go not to that. We're going to go to this one right here. Engels is right here. Saratov. This is Saratov. In here, this is the Caspian Sea. This is the Black Sea. Right here is Saratov, and I'm going to show you from Engels military base, and they have the bombers right there. 1 and 2, 1, 2, Polizei, and more than that. But anyway, so this is where they launched the attack, and I'm going to show you the Khmelnytsky airfield that I said I will show you in Ukraine. All right, Khmelnytsky. All right, Khmelnytsky. And the airfield is right there. But hey, we don't see how many things they got over there. So this is the Khmelnytsky airfield. We don't have to see the F-16s or anything over there. So this is the airfield that they tried to hide in this picture. This right there. This is the one. Okay, what else? Let's see. 14 caliber cruise missiles that were launched from the Black Sea. These are from submarines and small, not small, but attack boats carrying them. And that is located in the south, which is right here. This is Crimean Peninsula, Black Sea. This is, so they encircled with everything. North, northeast, east, southeast, Milerovo, Primorsko-Akhtarsk in Crimean Peninsula and the Black Sea. One unidentified missile that was launched from the temporarily occupied Crimea. All right, that is the attack. The same thing, they destroyed 546 Russian drones, 1 Kinzhal missile, and 30 cruise missiles. This is just for the West consumption. So whenever you hear, it's not necessarily that this is always like that, but they will try to present it that the American weapons see little by little they work, therefore send us more and money. Then they show, oh, we liberated a town in Sumy Oblast, or we liberated this town somewhere. So they give some ammunition, fake or real, to the negotiators. It's a stalemate. It's not the Russians are going to destroy Pokrovsk today or something. No. It's not like that. All right. So that's one of the reasons why it's propaganda. It is disinformation, not disinformation. So let's see what the Russians struck in that innocent American business, just doing business, man. He's just, building dolls and dildos and inflatable love-making ladies that don't talk back. Ukrainska Pravda. Russian missile strikes on US-owned flex plant in Mukachevo injures 19 people. I'm not certain, just because the Ukrainians say it was the Russian missile and they make sure it's a Russian missile, striking the US-owned when these guys are trying to talk to one another, the Russians and the US, is just now how good timing the Russians had with the Americans. Well, you can be also diplomatic while being at war. So I'm not certain, and the Ukrainians will make a big deal about it. So let's see. 19 people have been injured in a Russian missile strike on the flex plant in Mukachevo, Zakarpattia Oblast. You see, Zakarpattia Oblast. So where is that located again? This is Zakarpattia in this area. So this is Hungary right here, and this is the town they're talking about. All right, so this is in the south, right here, southwest of the country. Right, or if you want west, but southwest. All right, next. Let's see what these guys are telling us. We have updated reports. Pakhatsaka, 2 people were sent to that. 9. All right, we go over. Russia bombs U.S. factory in one of war's largest attacks from the vassals from the Telegraph. Kremlin launches more than 600 weapons at targets across Ukraine. So, okay, Russian bombs U.S. factory. That's what you need to know. Russia strikes American company in Zakarpattia Oblast with several missiles. Now it's several missiles. All right. Aftermath of the attack. And here is the poor company, as I said. Ukrainian Pakhatsapa, Zakarpattia, with several cruise missiles on American company. Why would they do? They targeted civilian infrastructure facilities. Now, if that was a civilian, obviously they say that. Remember NATO bombardment of Yugoslavia, or at that time, Yugoslavia, because it was still Serbia and I think it was Montenegro together. So did they strike any civilian infrastructure facilities? Yes. Do you remember? Yes, they did. Do you remember the American general, one of them in charge of the attack, what he said? If there's over there, and that's in Serbia or Yugoslavia, is going to be hit, because they somehow help the military. The same. If, let's say, we can agree that if you have a water bottling factory, bottles water, the water could be sent to the military, but the water could be sent to the kindergartens, could it be sent to the schools, all right? So is that a civilian or military facility? It's a civilian, but they also help the military. So should they bomb it? Now, if you have, let's say, a road a road in a city that is used by civilians in a city, right? But there are some tanks crossing through it and going towards war. Should you hit it? That's civilian infrastructure. Yes, it is, because these guys could use it. Now, if you have a bridge, the same way, you can make the case with many things. Like, for instance, women. Women give birth to the next warriors, fighters. That means, by this logic that the American general used in Yugoslavia, what Zelenskyy says here, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I mean, his logic is like civilian infrastructures. When those guys made the point, by the way, if you say, what's the connection? The connection is that the Americans are in charge of these guys in Ukraine. Remember, it was NATO coming to Russia, not Russia going towards NATO. And NATO doesn't belong to Romania, or you say to nobody. It's the Washington Organization Treaty. That's how it was called. And it took place in what? In Washington, D.C., wasn't it? Made by whom? By the United States of America. It's U.S.'s organization. So, spare me. Anyway, not you. You're here, all right? And let me show you some more articles here. And then we're going to go to the Hungarians. Foreign Minister of Ukraine, Russia launches massive attack on American electronics manufacturer. Well, those electronics could be weapons. There you go. Russia launched a massive strike on Ukraine, hitting an American electronics manufacturer. Well, you know that's a war over there. What do you want? And you know that the Russians are evil. Okay, where's the piece of news I'm supposed to, feel sad about? In the west of the country, this is yet another act of terror against the civilian population and businesses without any military logic, zero. You got it? Attack on Mukachevo explosion occurs at foreign investment factory. Well, the Russians told those investment factories, if you are going to invest in that country and that whatever you build over there could be used in the military, you're going to be a target. And what this guy said, you're not going to do it. They did it. Why? Because they can. What are they going to do? Nothing. Why? Because they have an equalizer, which is called a nuclear weapon, in this case. All right, let's see how Hungary responded to that. In Zakarpattia, that's a big minority population, Hungarian population. And the rights of those minorities are infringed as the Russians and the Romanians in Ukraine. But hey, all of a sudden the European Union is like, blah, 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 I don't want to hear it. No human rights, it's okay. But hey, minorities, be respected, but not now. Why? Because they are wrong minorities, if you know what I mean. So let me show you. Ukrainska Pravda. Hungary's president deletes word Russian from his post about Russian attack on Zakarpattia Oblast. Why do you think it's so? I will explain. Hungarian foreign minister comments on latest Russian attack on Ukraine with no mentions of Zakarpattia Oblast. Obviously, that's not because these guys don't like their Hungarian people and don't try to get that part of Ukraine at this point. It's because of, let me show you this right here. European Union state, which is Hungary, with Mr. Peter Szijjártó, hints at cutting off power supply to Ukraine. Why? Peter Szijjártó has accused Kiev of undermining Hungary's energy security. They said, if you hit those, that's a declaration of war. That's what they said before when the Ukrainians hit the military target of the pipeline. So it was a pipeline that was getting oil towards Hungary. And the Ukrainians bombarded. Now, where was the military target, or how do you want to call it here? Mr. The foreign minister of Ukraine, you remember? He said, with no logic, man, with no logic. Remember this article right here? Businesses without any military logic. You struck a pipeline going from the Russians towards a European Union NATO member state. They should have attacked, or NATO should have attacked Ukraine yesterday, at least. Or you can say, well, this is a logic. The Russians make money sending them oil. Well, you can say that, but how about the Hungarians? Okay, you hurt me, but in the meantime, you shot my kid, or the neighbor's kid. What should the neighbor do to you? So you're fighting me, and you try to hurt me, but you kill the neighbor's kid. The kid should fuck you up in no time. But no, blah, 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 nothing. So that's why they're not saying anything now. You try to destroy me. That's an act of terror. Using terror In this case, you try to strangle me economically in order to vote for you for something where you should not be, which is European Union or NATO. That's my political will, and you try to make me by destroying that, by hurting me? Is that how it works? Yeah, that's the way it works. So don't cry for the Russians hitting the American business then. Let's read a little bit further here. Hungary could cut off power supply to Ukraine in response to a recent attack on a pipeline carrying Russian oil to the EU state, Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó has suggested. Now, this is a foreign minister, just so you know. Not Zbicha, Rubio, Blinken, Annalena Baerbock, Kaja Kallas, or others. Unlike most European Union countries, Budapest has refused to provide military aid to Kiev. Independent country. I'm not going to give you anything. Why would I? And has been a vocal critic of the bloc's sanctions against Russia. Hungary's relations with Ukraine have been steadily deteriorating in recent years, with Budapest accusing Kiev of discriminating against the Hungarian ethnic minority in western Ukraine. In a post on X on Monday, Szijjártó stated that while, and I'm quoting, Russia has supplied oil to Hungary for decades via the Druzhba pipeline, Druzhba means friendship, Ukraine attacks this pipeline, and because of this Ukrainian strikes, all supplies to Hungary are repeatedly cut off. The diplomat stressed that Kiev's actions go directly against his country's national interest. Szijjártó went to warn Kiev that a significant part of Ukraine's electricity comes from Hungary. You got it? This is what's going on, and let me show you more. Ukraine says huge Russian attack proves Putin uninterested in peace. And see, Russia targeted Ukraine overnight. The Ukrainian Air Force says most of the weapons were intercepted. But the massive assault was far from unusual, and officials said at least one person pak. So, my friends, and kindergarten right there, because that's what the Russians are hitting. Only energy infrastructure, private homes, and all that, because we believe that. Not. You got it? So that's why Hungary did not play the role of, yes, you hit our people in Zakarpattia, because they say they were not our people. They were your businesses. Yes, some Hungarians might have been hurt in that one, but you, with your direct strike on Druzhba pipeline, you try to destroy all Hungarians. So all Hungarians versus 14 possible Hungarians injured. Which one? You say, well, both. Yeah, it's true. But one thing is when I flick you over your nose, and the other one when I get something and you, your household, and your family. Don't you think it's a different weight, carries different weight, all this? So that's why Szijjártó said that, and the president deleted the word Russian. Not because these guys, oh my God, we love the Russians. They are national interests. You can say, well, Ukraine has national interests. Definitely Ukraine works, or the guys in charge of the Ukrainian nation do not work for the national interest of the Ukrainian, not Zelenskyy, Ukrainians nation. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.